We are located in the Harbor Center building downtown. We build websites, we build web applications, and we build mobile applications. Bit of background as we're waiting here. Perfect, thank you. Bit of background about myself. I am an SFU grad, as Dr. Drew, sorry. As Drew pointed out. Are we good now? I've been in the business for about 10 years now. So I've purchased a few websites myself. I've probably built a bit more for myself, and I've built quite a few for other people. I'm here to share with you guys today some of the things that I've learned as a web professional of a decade. I've seen people make the same mistakes over and over again when it comes to web development. I've been involved with a lot of successful projects. I've been involved with a lot of failures, hopefully more successes than failures. But I've learned a lot along the way, and like I said, people have made the same mistakes over and over again. So I've put some stuff together here for you guys, some real-world experience to try to sort of augment some of the things that you've been learning in class, hopefully. So this is what our website looks like today, if you're here at creativefusion.com. You guys have Wi-Fi here?
Oh yeah.
You do? Okay, perfect. Let's get some blink stuff here. Sure, okay. So the name of the lecture here, guys, is Your Website Sucks. I've always wanted to have a lecture called Your Website Sucks, or that, or a book. Okay, and obviously it's pretty bold. Hopefully I have your attention. I've structured the presentation really informally. I didn't want to come up today and sort of be really preachy to you guys and just throw a bunch of theoretical stuff to you. I've compiled a list of 25 tips, suggestions, stuff that I have been able to find in books or online, stuff that I've had to come up with just through my experience as a web professional. Okay, so it's really what I should have called it is something like this: ensuring the success of your next web project. Gives you an idea of what I'm going to be talking about today. Okay? So just a quick show of hands. Does anyone have a website? I mean, there's got to be people. Okay. How many people bought their website? And those two people that bought websites, do you love your website? Would you say it's a successful website?
Define bought website though.
Well, you have someone else build it for you.
No.
You built it yourself? Okay. And you love your website?
Well, Nima fixed it, so now I love it.
Oh, okay.
I think your website just died.
Our website just died?
Yeah, I'm getting a 404 error.
We can talk about that. It's not important. Not for today's presentation. You love your website?
It's alright. I see that I can get the guys to do more work for the website just to make it better.
Okay.
I see there's some improvements, right?
Okay. For those people that have been through the process of building a website or getting it built for you, some of this will be familiar. Hopefully everyone will learn a lot today. So without further ado, okay, so we talked about the format, keep it really informal. I don't want to be preachy. Who's going to find this useful? I think everyone will. I mean, we're at a day and age where if you don't already have a website, you will eventually go and have someone build a website, or you'll build a website for yourself. It's inevitable. Some terminology before we get started. Website versus web application. Do you guys know the difference? What is it? Website versus web application. Putting on the spot.
Website's presence and web application is an activity.
Good. Perfect. So website, its primary purpose is static. Static information, mainly up there to promote something or yourself or a business. A web application, you're fulfilling a certain functional requirement. Sort of goes in line with web design versus web development. Web design is more the creation of websites. Web application development or web development is more application-based. I'm going to be using the term web company really generically throughout the presentation. A web company is just any company that performs web design, web development, web application development, and for purposes of this lecture, a lot of the things that I'm going to be talking about are very applicable to mobile applications, mobile projects, and companies as well. Tip number 1, make sure they have a visible and iterative development process. Does anyone have a clue what that means? Visible. You know what? Okay, go ahead, take a shot. And don't read.
Well, visible means it's like it's codified in some way, like you can look at a diagram.
That's it. Visible specifically in this context can mean you as a customer of a website or a web application, you can see progress on your project as it occurs. Okay? The web company doesn't disappear for a month and shows up and goes, here you go, we built what we talked about. Visible means that you are able to see it and provide feedback along the way. Iterative is exactly what you said. You want to make sure that a company takes stabs at something over and over again. Did we get it right? No, let's tweak it. Let's do it again. Did we get it right this time? And you guys can see that if it's visible and iterative, this development process, we have a way higher chance of you ending up with exactly what you want out of a project. There's no surprises. There's going to be no surprises in the aesthetics, there's not going to be any surprises in the timeline, and ultimately no surprises in the cost. So I talked a bit about, there's a reference here to a feedback channel. That can be something as simple as a demo server sitting somewhere where they give you a login and password, and you can log in whenever you want and see progress on your project, or regular feedback sessions, something. Establish something early on. Ask this company how they plan on incorporating your feedback during progress. Does anyone have any questions on that? Okay. Tip number 2. So we found over the years that this is the #1 question we get off right off the bat. Get on the phone. Hey guy, you're a lead, you called me. What can I do for you? They're right away. What's it going to cost me? And when we started out this company, we were quick to quote people right away. It's going to cost you $5,000. It's going to cost you $8,000. It's going to cost you $10,000. The right answer is, I have absolutely no idea what it's going to cost me. We don't know because we haven't talked about certain specifics. So it's actually a red flag when a company gives you a quote right away. I mean, you can understand, obviously, they want your business and they want to give you an answer, but that's not the right answer. So some good questions are, what do you plan on doing with the website? I mean, what's going to be the purpose of it? Intended audience? What are you hoping to achieve with the website? I mean, these are all things that are going to allow a web company ultimately to figure out what needs to be built, how long it's going to take, how much effort it's going to take, and then be able to provide you with a quote. So I make a reference here to templating of websites. Does anyone have a clue what that is? What's a templated website?
Canned website?
Canned website. So it's basically a website that's already built. And if someone's able to provide you a quote right away, it's going to cost you exactly $2,000. Chances are it's already been built, and they're going to reskin it, they're going to put a fresh coat of paint on it, and resell it to you. Does that work in a lot of cases? Sure it does. If what you need fits the templated design, it's perfectly fine. But in a lot of cases, you want something catered specifically to your business needs. Okay, so this is a tip that my business partner begged me to remove before I got here. And you can see why. If there isn't evidence enough that I'm actually here to help you guys, and I'm not just promoting my company, it's this. Try to haggle the price. It's a very, very competitive market out there. It's a plethora, it's an ocean of companies out there that can do web design and application development. That being said, if I was the consumer, and I'm sort of thinking as a consumer now, take that to your advantage, use it. Because it's competitive, you can very, very easily haggle the price. And I know because I've had to deal with that. I've had, oh, you can't throw that in? Well, this company can. So what are you going to do as a company? So often when they come back, when you say, it's really simple, I'm not going to give you a lesson on negotiation and haggling price, but it can be as easy as saying, wow, that's out of my budget, or that's a little bit higher than I expected, and they're going to turn around and say, well, what's your budget? And that's usually a really good indicator that the price can be adjusted. So this competitiveness that I'm talking about, use it to your advantage for all the other tips. Like when you're out, we're going to talk a bit about mock-ups in a bit. Because it's competitive, ask them to do certain things to mitigate your risk. So tip number 4, don't worry about the buzzwords. Well, this is some people. Yeah, this is a tip that we threw in here because we found that a lot of web companies, they just love to throw the buzzwords around. And there's so many buzzwords now that even I get confused. They think that the more buzzwords they know and they can drop and try to impress you, that the better they can build a website. That's just absolute garbage. So I just put together some terms that you might find useful shopping around for a website. You may or may not be aware of the definitions. Let's see. Content management system. Does anyone know what that is?
The active group, I don't know.
It's the ability. No one knows what a CMS is? Go ahead.
It's basically the back end where you can, like, if say we're getting a website by you, it's where we can actually access our data and make changes and sort of actually run the site. So like WordPress would be a basic content management system.
Bingo, I think you got it. It's content that you can change yourself on your own web page or your website without the help of the developer. Bingo. So it's probably the biggest trend to hit website design these days is CMSs. SEO, I'm sure you guys all know what SEO is. Yeah, what is it?
It's the ability to manipulate where websites show up on Google category page.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty much it. The key is that it's optimization. That you never know where your website's going to get returned. You can do the best you can to optimize the content layout of your website to put you in the best possible ranking on something like Google. Web 2.0, it's a bunch of technologies that just make websites more interactive. You guys have heard of Flash? Flash is an example. Flex is another one. Ajax. If you guys dig around, you'll undoubtedly come across some of these. When you get your website designed, you want to make sure that it's cross-browser compatible. What does that mean?
Works with Internet Explorer and Firefox and Chrome, Opera.
Bingo, bingo. Not just works, but it should look and behave the exact same way across all browsers. Web application, we talked about that. E-commerce, that's dead simple. What's e-commerce? It's just buying and selling things online, so like eBay is an example of e-commerce. So tip number 5, you get what you pay for. We were finding that over the years, after sitting down with a prospective customer, that we would eventually get to the price of a website, and people were genuinely shocked with what it would cost to build out their website, especially mobile apps. People don't realize how much they cost. So this tip is here so that you guys, when you're out shopping for a website or a web app or a mobile app, it's a lot like shopping for a car. You know, you have a specific make and model in mind, you should know what that car goes for. So that when you're out in the car lot, you know whether this guy's jerking your chain, whether he's ripping you off or not. Okay? So I'm going to pick just one of these. You said you had live interactivity out here, so okay. Okay, I want you guys to try to guess, and I'm going to show you a website, and maybe you've been to this website before. Keg Steakhouse. Awesome steaks. I love Keg Steakhouse. Okay.
Just click log into the network and we'll let you in.
Has anyone been to this site before? Yeah? Not bad. It's got some interesting flash. You got menus, locations. It's the website that you use across Canada and the US. You can download menus, you get gift cards. I think you can purchase gift cards right off the site, so there's a bit of e-commerce connectivity there. Anyone want to take a guess as to what it would cost to build this site? Go ahead.
20,000.
20,000? Okay. Anyone else? 20,000 too high, is it too low? 10,000? 10,000. Well, what it would cost Creo Fusion, and what I think this website would be going for these days, is probably around 15. Probably about 15. Does that surprise a lot of people? Because some people honestly come to us with a functional description that matches